And just like that, the next episode has begun. Welcome back to Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. I'm your host, MegaShadowFist. I suck at video games and suck at commentary. When we last left off, we were cross-examining Luke at me. Now, this one, if there's anything I've learned from the fourth case of the previous game, and this case in particular, is that sometimes this game wants you to press things twice. And I feel like the game was baiting me into pressing this a second time. So let's try it again. Now that's just your imagination talking. Come now, Sir Lawyer. I'm afraid imagination isn't the right word for it. This is a deduction, the result of carefully applied reasoning. Can we hear that careful reasoning for ourselves? It's a long story, and better save for another time. Very well, another time. Those so-called long stories aren't usually all that long. At least, not in my experience. Oh, so that's it? We don't get it. Maybe we should press it 3 times. No, okay, fine. Look at me at no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. They said that we should press something again, right? Like, okay, decided to investigate Master Matt simply mistake who he was. It was Mr. Bullet who wrote that blackmail letter and sent it to Rondelite. Let's press that again. You mean this blackmail letter right here? It says, bring $50,000. And the handwriting is, without a doubt, the victim's. There's no mistake, we have an official report to prove it. But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere. An addressee? This letter was discovered in Rondelite's apartment, and Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no addressee is irrelevant. I wonder... What's up, Nick? I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? Whoa! Do you have any evidence of that? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? Alright. Once again, Mr. Bullet who harbored a grudge against Mr. Light for his betrayal. Mr. Bullet who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Rhonda Light. Let's check the blackmail letter. Found in Rhonda Light's room, written by Bullard. Touch the check button to read. If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, come to KV Security at 1 o'clock a.m. Have I saved yet recently? Okay, I'm gonna save. What I want to do is I want to present Luke at me, because he's wearing the red jewel, right? So maybe it was sent to him. It would make sense. All right, from save point. All right, I'm gonna try it. Hopefully this will work. Who knows? Nope, this isn't what they're looking for. Your Honor, what do you think about the witness's statement? I'm not quite sure I follow you. It clearly contradicts the, I thought... You don't sound very sure, Mr. Wright. Objection overruled. Alright. I don't think that won me any points with the judge. Because I was thinking, it specifically mentioned a red jewel, and since Luke at me is also wearing a red jewel, I was like... He made a very fine point that he was wearing it, so I thought, maybe, you know, I don't know. And it was again Mr. Bullet who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal? Now let me go to the end. They said that we need to... Okay, Mr. Bullet's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master Mask. Alright, let's go from the beginning and figure out which is a lie, which is true, and which isn't a lie. Wait, what? Okay, whatever. Luke at me had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. What happens if we press this again? And who in the world? I will. And after doing, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in their report. Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved. Nope. That was blunt. In any case, okay. Kane Bullet decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. Okay. Mistook. Yeah, that's right. Mistook for old. Okay, that's not what I meant. This is Master. Why the answer is obvious. Ronda Light, of course. Boy, I'd like to wipe that smug. We pressed harder, haven't we? Yes, we have. Let's do it again. Why would the victim... Don't you already know that, Zvadi? Take a look. Okay, yeah, that's right. They have their newspaper. The other thing is... Oh ho, that's the famous... That shows... Furthermore, it also shows the defendant, okay, he got the wrong impression. The impression that... Okay. We can actually hit the B button to skip passings quicker. I keep forgetting to do that. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the Blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Light. We have pressed that twice. It was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Light for his betrayal. Alright. Okay then, what do you... certain use body... Yes, okay, so we did that. So, it doesn't... I don't think that we're gonna get anything out of pressing anything again. Believing he was a thief. Here's a file that discovered evidence that Mr. Bullard was... Okay. However, it's a bit odd. He wasn't actually Master Mask on the point. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master Mask. That is why Mr. Light saw fit to kill Kane Bullard, truly a tragedy. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master Mask. Let's press this again. Do you really think... Okay. The adaptation is not merely, what do you mean? I have here a memo. And then we have the... yeah, that stuff again. Huh. Oh, Mr. Wright? Okay. I thought he was actually pretty convincing. Okay, so we pressed everything twice, so it doesn't look like we're gonna get any new information by pressing anything twice. Unfortunately, they said that we don't have like all the information that we need, so we need to keep pressing. That's what they said, so I thought maybe we need to press something twice. I guess not. Let's start from the very beginning and break things down the old-fashioned way. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask as mystically was. Look at me at no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistake who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Rhonda Light. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Light for his betrayal. Interesting. Okay, Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master Mask. That is why Mr. Light saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard, truly a tragedy. Okay, so the game was sort of leading me on to the fact that we need to somehow prove, I think, that, again, Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Light for his betrayal. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Rhonda Light. Okay, so let's look at the blackmail letter. Found in Rhonda Light's... Okay, check the tech button for details. Blackmail letter. If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, come to KB Security at 1 o'clock a.m. If you don't, I'll take the red diamond you received the other day instead. Huh. Now, we tried presenting Luke Atmey's whatchamacallit. I don't think this is going to get me anywhere, but we have saved recently, so I want to see if we present the blackmail letter itself. Will that do anything? I doubt it, but... It does! Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atmey? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright. When you said that this letter was addressed to Rhonda Light, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction? I don't know where a walking... Shut up! I have no beliefs, but a belief I'm a walking contradiction, and I've got no rights. I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You want to talk? At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Hey, don't call me Junior, Senior. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Alright, let's get back into things. From save point. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Okay. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. Okay, so let's look at the blackmail letter again. Analyze it thoroughly. If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, come to KB Security at 1 o'clock a.m. on October 12th and bring $50,000. If you don't, I'll take the red diamond you received the other day instead. Okay. Shows the contradicting... Okay, so... The mass calling card. Check the button for details. How much is the urn? No, the urn is considered valueless, right? So, and not in the good way, so no. So, what I want... I reveal your true identity. Would presenting Luke Atmey's profile work? I don't think it will, but we'll present it anyway. Ha! A little 2-1 punch like that wouldn't even faze me. I think you mean 1-2 punch. Mr. Wright, try thinking things through a little more before fighting thoughts with others. Alright, we got a guilty verdict. Okay. Okay, so I need to figure out what the contradiction is. So we were supposed to present that, obviously, but we need to figure out what the contradiction is. Court defines the defendant Rhonda Light guilty of murder. The accused will surrender to the court immediately, to be held pending trial at the higher court within a month from today's date. That is all. The court is adjourned. Bye-bye for now. Okay, adios. I don't know where that voice came from. I don't know where half of the voices that I use come from. They sort of just do. Why'd you show us what you got there, Junior? Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradiction evidence of the content of the blackmailer. Okay, so he said it was... So, look at me. The point that we presented evidence for was this. It said it was written by Kane Bullard and sent specifically to Rhonda Light. Now, if we look at the blackmail letter, right? If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, come to KV Security at 1:00 a.m. Now, perhaps we can present Rhonda Light, because Rhonda Light wanted his identity revealed to the world, right? So, that doesn't make sense. Is that what they want? Nope. Because, I don't know, because it's like, or maybe they could say, oh, well, maybe they meant like identity as in like, you know, stealing evidence. Sure, I guess you could argue that point. Alright, whatever. I hate how we can't, like, B-button past this or skip past this. Nor is there any more time to decide the case. This is extremely clear. I see no room for mistaking the facts. The court finds the defendant, Rhonda Light, guilty. Alrighty then. Let's try this again. The accused... It looks like we're at the point now where we're going to be having, like, if I don't do anything, we're going to be, like, in an infinite guilty loop. But I said the 10-minute rule, so... We have until, I guess, we have, I guess, 5 more minutes to figure this out before I look it up. What do you want to show us that you got there, Junior? Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of the blackmail letter. Okay. Check. If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world... Why is it labeled blackmail letter? Like, okay. Come to KV Security at 1:00 a.m. on October 12th and bring $50,000. If you don't, I'll take the red diamond you received the other day instead. Okay. Come to KV Security at 1:00 a.m. on October 12th and bring $50,000. At 1:00 a.m. Okay. CO office card. Used on October 12th, the night of the crime at 1 a.m. Ron's wallet. Okay. Publicity photo. Try to match and match. Check button for details. Let's see here. Damask brooch. Found in the shadow of Amy Faye's statue. Looks like it was torn off some clothes. Kane's autopsy report. That just says, you know, like cerebral hemorrhaging. At 1:00 a.m. About first heist. Garden photos. Rhonda Light. Touch check button for details. Okay, the precious gem tear of evidence stolen, the gem and the thief is what it says, I think. CEO office, no fingerprints. Found on a table, check the scene, check the check button for details. 100,000, 150,000, 240,000. The 50,000, like if he was really like the... Well, we're not trying to prove that Rhonda Light was a thief. We're trying to prove that he was a murderer, right? So that wouldn't quite work with us. Kane buzzer went off. Ron's testimony, second heist, he was stealing as directed by blackmail letters. What exactly does that prove for us? You know, we haven't used Ron's testimony at all a single time yet, so, you know, it's worth a shot. Nope, that was incorrect. A little 2-1 punch like that wouldn't even faze me. Oops. Do not save! That would be absolutely tragic if I did. Okay, let's skip past this nonsense. Oh, we can't. Mr. Wright, try thinking things through a little more before finding faults in others. Okay, that's enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial, nor is there any need for more time to decide this case against... Alright, I say that if I get to the... You know, if it takes me... after I'll give it 1 more minute. If I can't figure it out in 1 more minute, I'll look it up just to speed things up. The accused will surrender to the court immediately. The court will be trying to fight. That is all. The court is adjourned. Okay. Yep. It always seems like we have one of those, this infinite guilty verdict loop. I'll just show us, indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of this blackmail letter. Okay. Treasure exhibit poster. If we presented the blackmail letter itself, I don't think that would do anything for us. Let's check profiles. Master, flashy thief who steals valuable works of art, sends a calling card before a heist. Rondolite claims he is Master used to work as a security guard, gave you security. We already presented those two. I don't think that works. Kane Bullard, CEO, his body is found inside his safe. Okay. I mean, if with a red diamond instead, like red diamond, red rum, touch the check button for details. Check again. If you don't want your true identity revealed to the world, come to KB Security at 1 o'clock a.m. on October 12th and bring $50,000. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you see the other day instead. Oh, it's been a minute, so I guess I'll be right back. And I'm back. I looked it up. It turns out that the evidence that we were supposed to present was the newspaper clipping. There we go. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the Tirviminen, the stolen jewel. What about it? The problem is this jewel's color. Color. I'm not much for discussing color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in that blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Red? Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tirviminen that Master Mask stole at all. Objection. And your point is, Mr. Trite? So you are trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else? That is what you're trying to say, right, Trite? He's probably going to ask me to present something, so let's go ahead and save. Suspending game. Continue. From save point. Right, Trite? That is what you're saying! That is what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright? Well, that is what you're trying to say, right, Nick? Yes. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. Okay. This is... I guess I presented it one too early. Let's go with Look At Me. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? You have been personally involved in every single Master Mask case, and in the last case, you recovered what was stolen, and received a jewel as your reward. A jewel? Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. That is the diamond referred to in the letter, which means that Kane Bullard wrote that letter in order to blackmail you. Order! Order in the court! Order, I say! It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite. Uh-oh. I don't like the way he said that. Neither do I. Let's go ahead and save. And, I guess we'll go ahead and, finish things off in the next recording session, because when I looked up the whatchamacallit, or in the next episode, when I looked up the whatchamacallit, there was apparently, we're very close. I think. Uh-oh, I don't think that went with an awkward pause.